I hear the whining a little bit.
Yeah, it's just the pattern that it's on now. If I stop it, that's on my other machine. There's no restart. Yeah, it looks like we are live here. Twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. Early morning Ultra Kayfabe Friday locker room declassified transmission as we sent the signal flares out the side of the plane so we could escape Saudi Arabia. Woo! And took off into the night like the Arabian swordsman that we are, and watching so much wrestling, so much to talk about this week on all brands, whether it's Russo brand, Hamin brand, or your brand, here on the Friday Locker Room with Hacker Hamin and Big Stevie Cool. Y'all. Stevie, good morning, bud.
Good morning. It feels like the end of another wrestling week, and we're running on fumes. Thank God we got the Horsemen to kind of like spark us up a little bit.
I kind of popped this morning, just getting up, checking my Twitter. Somebody, I think from Russo brand, hit me up, and I'm going to hit them back and give them a little litany. But like, they're like, hey, Hacker, I mean, what shows are you on Hamin Media? And I popped because this week I was on almost all of them. I'm on the NFO special. I did the Impact Attack to fill in for Joe Jan, who got called away on special assignment for his XM Radio Sports show. So Matt Schaffer and I rocked that. Last week I was on the SmackDown Attack filling in for Big Ray and Colin Wise song. Did the locker room with an awesome locker room with Strangler Steve while you were on the road, man. And both Russo brand shows, and I did something else on Thursday. So the short answer is, what shows wasn't I on? Is probably the Monday Locker Room and the Pro Wrestling Reflection. I think that was about it, man. But and obviously Conspiracy Horseman, man. I don't want to leave that one out with McAfee last week. But I'm surprised my voice is still holding up and trying to stay well lubricated on that Dippin' Donuts coffee. And actually just got another order this morning from ZordosOliveOil.com. Went live. Starting to sell already, man. Nothing really even in state here, shipping to Virginia and I think Minnesota already. But if you're a foodie or you know a foodie, somebody in your life who likes that highest quality for cooking, or if you know some Greeks in your life and they want some imported olive oil straight from the Greek groves in Greece that the Zordos family own, who also are the Dippin' Donuts Triple D, our very close friend. ZordosOliveOil.com shipping now. It's comparable to other products, Stevie. It's like $100. We saw people paying because they had their olive oil graded. It came out in the 98th percentile. Wow. like I think they paid, I won't say how much they paid. They paid a good little chunk to have it like graded amongst everybody else. And it came out as ultra premium. So the other people are selling from $79.99. I think when I checked it out to $99 a bottle, same volume, and they're selling at $24.99 with free shipping. So
what you're saying is that there's going to be a lot of wrestling fans complaining about the price.
yeah, exactly, man. But I'm super pumped for them, and because this is different from Dippin' Donuts, their Greek heritage is such a big part of who they are, and now people all over can have some of that to ship. And the first customers were just people with the last name Zordos searching, hey, what products are under my name? That's a fun little thing to do, and there they are. And that Greek community is so loyal, as Papa Don will tell you.
Yes.
So there's my spiel this morning, man, for the side marketing projects, but I am pumped to see those orders come rolling in for them. But I see the chat room loading up. Jay Reezy's in there. Jay Hal Cabinet Man Potts, Buckshot Kid, Marquez Fazpak. I don't know. He says, good afternoon from the UK, lads. Looks like a new user there. Good afternoon. Ken Sorrell and obviously MSG, Matt Schaffer, 12 gauge in the house. So as we're going to kick it off here, man, what's going on with you, Stevie? Anything you want to talk about this week?
Nothing much, just creating more content. I got a bunch of content in the queue from my time out in Force USA, a lot of different rack overviews and functional trainers. I put up a workout on the G12 commercial. The other day I did my thoughts on the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is going to make my PC builds seem even more like it's going to be a reality, because I just don't, I don't like, I don't even want to pay for the PC build, which is like basically on the level of an iMac Pro, like a $5,000 to $8,000, or even a Mac Pro, $5,000 to $8,000 computer. And I'm just a little scared to go over to Windows. I've been so invested on the Mac side, but the apps I have, most of them translate over to Windows, and I just don't want to pay that Apple tax anymore.
Yeah, dude.
I don't want to do it.
I freed myself. I was a diehard Mac guy coming through college, through the early days of design in Chicago. And then I think it was probably even at OVW, we had an awesome Mac setup to edit on. Marty and those guys edit on. But then once I broke free, probably about 2010, because the whole thing was, Macs aren't good for graphics and Flash and all that shit. I mean, PCs aren't. But then Apple and Adobe just caught up neck and neck, and it was way easier to steal programs through torrents at that time and software and crack it for PC than it was to do it for Mac. There was so much more available. So, and I could get the same computing power for pretty much $1,600 that people were paying $4,000 and $5,000 for on a Mac just for the fucking stamp. Not to say that the Macs aren't awesome, but no way. Once they went back to those flat screen iMacs, I worked on a lot of those at places I marketed for, Fiber Instrument Sales and stuff like that. That's a nice machine too.
I have the 2014 version of that. It's still running pretty well, but there's bandwidth limitations, port limitations. And to get into it, if I wanted to upgrade the drive to an SSD or so, there's a bunch of adhesive, which isn't exactly impossible to do, but still, it's my computer. I'd like to do it. And I think on the back end, what it is, Mac OS is free every time there's an update, but you really are paying for it with the hardware. The hardware has such a premium. I tried to do the Hackintosh. It didn't quite work out. And that was the thing too. The Hackintosh thing, like, I need stability. That's why I use a Mac. So if I'm going to go instability or have to tinker, I might as well go to Windows and do it within the official realm of that. You should really check out DaVinci Resolve on the PC side. I told you that before. Has a bunch of really cool editing features in the free version, where you don't have to even crack it or do anything like that, because I don't want to pay Adobe any sort of subscription price.
I do pay Adobe subscription for the first time. This is the first time in my life I ever paid for it. So using my former, emails when I was working as a professor, I can get the discounted version. I think it's $29.99 a month, and that's tax write-off for Hamin Media as far as tools, Dropbox, web space. So it all has to be paid for, but it's going to get figured into clients' billing as well. So, which I have to do later today too.
Yeah, I understand
that operation doing the billing. You're like, shit, I got to get paid, but fuck, I got to do all this extra paperwork, and I can't hire anybody to do it. So, whatever, it's got to get done. You want to get paid, kid. That's how it goes.
The long story short is, I'm excited to do it. I'm going to do a Ryzen build. I can do gaming on it. I can stream. I can put in PCI cards. I can do a lot, but it's just a matter of just being.
I think you're going to switch. I think you're going to go, fuck, I wish I would have done this 3 years ago, dude.
I'm going to tell you what makes me want to switch easier is the fact that I can do so much on iOS, so much with my iPad Pro. I can edit videos with LumaFusion. I can do live streams with Switcher Studio. I can edit photos in Affinity Photo. I can actually design t-shirts in Affinity Designer. The iPad Pro is, that's why I don't even care about the MacBook Pro too, because that iPad Pro is every video you see up there on YouTube right now, leading up to the one with the 16 inch, that was all recorded with Switcher Studio and plugged into the Rodecaster Pro, or having wireless microphones hooked up through a hub. It's, definitely something that if you just want to make some good content portably, you can do that. So, that opens it up to where if I really want to edit and play around and do some gaming and some streaming and stuff like that, essentially the iOS device might be my main device. And then the PC will be like when I have to sit at the desk and do stuff like this.
Will you get on Twitch and drop racial slurs while gaming with Randy Orton?
Who did that?
Orton did.
Oh, I thought that was that Boogie guy again.
Oh, no. He was playing and he just, talking shit and just dropped it street lingo wise. He wasn't doing it like smashing on somebody hard, just hip hop style. Man, I was watching RZA on Joe Rogan before this, just blowing me away. I just got to get to him, man. Like, I feel there's only one or two masters left that I need to bow before to take some wisdom from, and I'm working on getting a face to face with him. But like I said, that's probably the last person I fucking mark out for. Everybody else on the planet, I punch in the throat for fucking $5. You know, I can give a fuck. And somebody else who doesn't give a flying fuck anymore is ACH.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. In an expletive-laden statement, all WWE did was hold our people back. And you know, it got passed around last night.
Play it again.
Yeah.
As of today, I'd like to officially announce that I quit fucking WWE. I am no longer employee. I refuse to work for racists. I fucking quit. Fuck them. I hate that fucking company and everything they fucking stand for. All they did was ever hold our fucking people back. I do this shit for the culture. I don't need anyone's fucking permission to do what I want to do. Screw Jordan Miles. Don't ever call me by that slave name. Call me ACH and don't forget the super bitch. I quit. Fuck you.
Got him. They broke him.
Well, there's differing things like you're fired, no, I quit, no, you're fired, no, I quit, back and forth. So, you know, they're going to say they released him. He's going to, I would say that's probably a mistake, because with what he's saying, that could really, as frivolous as it might be, he could sue him then. But if he quits and they let him quit and grant him his request, how's he going to turn around and say, I'm suing you for getting rid of me or whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much to kind of hypothetically or not allegedly, but hypothetically unpack in this of like, so this whole thing happens with, you know, the Sambo looking racist shirt NXT, where everyone gets a shirt and when they shouldn't have, nobody's over and they rush to it. There's some approval, some, you know, well, he didn't say no, and it was on a white shirt. Now it's on a black. We didn't know that. There's some get out of jail cards that they could play, right? Or they did play through the Stooge Core. But then he's, you know, if I don't hear from them on Friday, you know, we're gonna have problems. Well, they go to Saudi Arabia and, you know, this kid's rant gets sidetracked while there's 100 hostages being taken covertly and $300 to $500 million that needs to get transferred to a bank account. So the NXT kids racial fucking Colin Kaepernick moment gets sidelined pretty fucking fast in the news cycle, while people are tweeting thoughts and prayers from the fucking plane in Saudi Arabia. Monday, he issues an ultimatum, they better or else. And nothing is really said. And then on Wednesday, this drops, you know, him throwing a fucking temper tantrum. Fuck that. Fuck you. Instead of possibly trying to go to the office and do something, he could have had some actual video here. But, you know, in his earlier rants, he also goes in on ROH and calls fucking Jay Lethal and Uncle Tom, and you know, that when him and Cedric Alexander, and I can't remember the other wrestler was, that he said they didn't get any fucking respect because that dude was on top and he wasn't about it for the culture or whatever. This whole thing he's kind of hiding or putting over as hashtag for the culture. So, you know, this kid in his age was probably affected differently because he was very an emotional young teenage man when the Black Lives Matter movement was kicking off in Ferguson. So I can understand how he could have a lot of this, like, be at the forefront of who he is. You know what I mean? Where I remember when I was a young man at that age, not that I was like a young black man at that age, but I've always been a hip hop head. And I remember Public Enemy, Apocalypse 91 came out by the time I get to Arizona, because Arizona still hadn't recognized Martin Luther King Day. And, you know, and then Rodney King and the riots and all that shit went down, and LA burned, and hip hop just kind of became the mainstay. And these kids weren't alive, don't remember that. That's just a little news clip they watch. So I understand where he could be hot and as a millennial have reactions like this, but this kid's kind of fucked now because AEW isn't going to take him. He's not just going to walk into there. ROH bridge is burned. New Japan maybe, but what is that? WWE's never going to take him probably back ever again. And Impact is probably only going to pay him $250 a match. So what lies in wait here, man, for his future based on going off like that?
This t-shirt thing seems like the climax to a bunch of different events. That's what I would assume, rather than the first of all the events we've seen.
Yeah.
There has to be, and you can't be cryptic and just say, I hate that fucking company, they're racist, or just, you gotta tell us like what is going on and what has been going on. You don't have to. This
right.
kid, this is a side of the kid I've never seen. Like I said, I was in ROH and I had some dealings with him as far as just personal conversation. He always struck me kind of what like Xavier Woods is, where a big video game guy, big anime guy, which he is. You can be both, but I never got the impression that he was this unhappy with whatever culture was being suppressed in ROH. I figured with Jay Lethal as world champion, if anything, that would be a step in the right direction. Right. And it's not even, the thing is, it's not, since the days when Ron Simmons became the first black champion, and then you had The Rock, who was half black, half Samoan. Is it really supposed to be, you know, they did a thing with Kofi saying first black world champion. So is it really a thing? Do you understand what I mean?
Well, there is this part of it that no one really points out. After Kofi lost.
It's an honest question, by the way. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be a thing. I'm just asking if it is.
Right. I think, yeah. Is it a thing? Like, is there a concerted effort to keep black champions down? And they just did it with Kofi to silence the critics because of that, right? So, again, you're using kind of as a puppet, but it doesn't matter because this is wrestling and every champion has their worth for a reason. They did this promo, I remember, and I don't know if they went into business for themselves at NXT, where it was all the black dudes down there, and they were like supporting like Team Kofi or whatever. Like they were still pumped, like because it was that for the culture thing. So I could see where they were doing a positive, you know, it almost kind of felt like black fraternity, you know what I mean? Like dudes together and like we're all gonna build it up positive. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. But if they went into business for themselves and nobody fucking cleared that and that got out, I can't remember how it came out. You know what I mean?
I remember like it was just a social media thing.
Right. And so I don't know if it was their own personal stuff, but that's all I can think of that would have been the pebble in the pond that would have a racist response like this, where there's some diabolical, you know, oh, we're going to fucking get them. They made us make Kofi champion and now they're going to fucking question us behind the scenes. Okay. You wait till your fucking shirt comes out. That's like hypothetical, but like he's probably painted it in his mind possibly that way. You know what I mean? So
they also have a tendency, which I experienced a lot, of talking in a very condescending way. The white, black, Mexican, whatever it might be. He could have had a Matt Bloom. He could have, I'm not naming names saying I know that's what happened, but I'm saying he could have one of the people that were in charge, or even Hunter to some extent, or somebody speak down to him more so because you're not a top guy.
Sure.
And it can be taken. Now let's not say that WWE is not completely innocent, because obviously after this Connor's cure and the Susan B. Komen and stuff, this thing with Kofi as a black champion was a nice little novelty for them, but they really only got about 10% out of it than they should have.
Yeah.
It was like the Ray thing. Here's your Mexican champion, and then we're going to take it off him right exactly on this date. So you already got the belt off him as he's getting it.
Yeah.
And that could be, and if anybody deserves it, I mean, if Kofi spoke out against this, if Big E spoke out against this, which Big E did tweet a few things here and there, didn't he?
Yeah, well, that's the thing here. You know, if WWE wanted to silence him, what they should have done to get max value and shut everybody the fuck up about the black champion is get Kofi to the top have it there, see where they're about to jump the shark, and Big E turns on them before that, and Big E wins the title, takes it off him in some fucking scramble way, and have another black champ right after the first one, so everyone shuts the fuck up. But
let me back up a second. That doesn't mean that ACH as a human being doesn't deserve to have his see. I don't want to even bring on any sort of hint, because I hate that too, because my place on the card determines the voice that I'm allowed to have. That's bullshit. And ACH should do that, but this is also more of a youthful approach. And he has to, if he came and he said, I got some text messages, I got emails, I got all this stuff that is just completely racist from the WWE. It's so racist, and they actually laughed and whatever at me when I said that this is concerning and this is insulting to my culture. Then you're talking about that's some shit that could bring a whole company down.
Yeah, absolutely, and they know that, and that's why they put him on ice. And he drove himself apeshit over the weekend, not being in the spotlight, because he had a legit bitch the way he brought it out. You know what I mean? The internet got behind him, but by that afternoon, and oh yeah, fuck you too, Jay Lethal, you Uncle Tom. Like what the fuck? Everyone's like, well, everyone in the biz just is like, well, we had something there, and then fucking shot that in the ass by 4 hours later. I see from the chat room, one of our users, let me see his name here, Mark Fazpak, Ben and Stevie, if you were in the same situation, how would you have dealt with it? Gone with the public or gone to the office first? Oh, definitely not gone public with it. Neither of us are young black men who've experienced that or have a purview on it. But just as an outsider looking at what I would have done is, dude, there's got to be a pecking order of dudes to go through, whether it's Booker T, Big E, before you make a move like that. Like, let guys who are connected fucking go to bat for you on some shit. And then if they don't, like, you got to go up. You just can't have a reactionary shit. If you're a real worker and you really are for the culture, well, then he should know he's a fucking soldier on that level. He ain't no fucking general to be calling and firing shots. You got to go to Booker T, get Mark Henry on the fucking phone, like somebody who's got some weight and can be like, yo, man, you ain't gonna fucking do no Sambo shirt on my motherfucking watch, where he doesn't even have to say shit to the office. You know what I mean? Like, that's how a real fucking worker plays it. Not this millennial shit. Look at me on Twitter, fucking go off. And you see where his headspace is at and how he quit, man. Instead of getting his own Jutang clan and fucking lawyering up and going at him and really making their fucking assholes pucker up, where he could walk away with $20 million in Saudi money and he don't got to worry about where he wrestles. Instead, he'd rather cut a fucking Periscope fuck you promo. Peace, see ya. And now, like I outlined, what are his options? Stevie, how would you handle it if you were in his shoes?
You're absolutely right. You put somebody like a Mark Henry or Booker T. Mark Henry, probably because he's still Booker's with the company, but more on the Fox side right now. Yeah. And have them be his advocate to do that. And they can do it in a political way, or Mark Henry just comes out and says, hey, this kid didn't say anything, but I'm saying this looks like this and it offends me. And they cut it out. No heat on the kid. Maybe they fuck with him a little bit because they know deep down he said something.
You're not going to fuck with him too hard because Mark Henry's going to come back on you again. Do you really want that? Like,
well, I mean, but they fuck with Titus O'Neil, who has money written all over him in so many different ways. This kid is just like another Leo Rush, which, by the way, their behavior sort of is so similar, with Mark Henry actually giving Leo Rush advice and Leo Rush not taking it.
That's why I wanted to preface that with that Ferguson era, and I'm not trying to belittle what happened there by any means. It's super fucked up, but that's their LA riots, right? And in a millennial time, the Renaissance where we all came together at Club MTV and watched strippers shake their ass pretending they were the girls next door. Like, everybody could get down with that. These guys came up in a time of media segregating themselves. There's really no difference. We all love hip hop. We all love whatever. And this is all they have to cry about in a social justice warrior way. So I see it's just like big scars for them that they've carved into themselves, man, where
they don't understand that it's all like a George Soros and
it's all a work.
Mainstream media manipulated thing, that they're actually more pawns than they realize in this whole thing. How I would have probably handled it, and I've handled some things pretty badly to a point, not with social media, but you know what I mean? Like not played it out, was a little emotional. What I would have done is obviously tried to see if it can be solved internally. And now, of course, there's a story saying they were about to give him a big push when this hit. That's their answer for everything. Whenever even if he didn't do anything wrong and he just asked to be released, they was like, we were just about to give you a big push. And God, the timing's so bad. That's bullshit too. But what I would have done if he needed to have this out, number one thing you don't do is go on social media. And number two thing you don't do is sell when someone puts a comment in there that you absolutely deserve for calling Jay Lethal the same name. They were just ribbing, like they were just trolling you.
Yeah.
And that threw you off. And I believe that's why he
sold so hard for it. He sold so hard for it. Dude.
But what do you expect when you put yourself out there, even if you're the nicest guy in the world on social media? I mean, I don't think I do anything to fucking vilify myself on the YouTube channel, and I still have people saying shitty shit to something that's trying to save you some money on a consumer product or you know what I mean? Yeah. This guy's actually making a major accusation. So getting back to if I was him and you went this far, get in front of a news camera, get in front of do some kind of official press conference, have a prepared statement.
Yeah.
What's that?
Go to Stanford, stand at the front steps if you need to, and have a news conference ready to go.
You understand what I mean? Say if you're going to do that, and here's the reporters, here's the facts, here's the printed out text messages, here's the printed out emails. Put that on your news. And then say thank you very much for your time. I'll be available for any questions following this press conference.
Sure.
How would that look?
Use your real name too. Use your real name, not the character. You know, the whole thing. Be very professional about it.
There's so many things the kid. I would say though, everybody thought Leo Rush was done. I'd say if anything, like if he were to come in with this character and they turned it into a gimmick, the only thing is, Impact would probably be the only one that would take the chance. NWA is too much of a fun show right now to introduce that kind of character.
Yeah. What is that character? I mean, it's like, what is for the culture character? It's not a Nation of Islam Farrakhan look. I'm just trying to think about what archetype is the badass black, like you can't
if you're going to go all the way, try even an Antifa type character. It's a little
right. That's what
down.
I'm saying. He's got to like have, almost like street riot gear on, like he's ready to fucking be out there throwing Molotov cocktails and shit. You know what I mean? From the way he's breaking down like that. Like I can't really picture any other archetype of like.
Well, he can be whatever archetype he is, just a matter of what TV show is going to take the chance and lose advertisers on that or anything. And AEW, with what they used to preach, would be a place where the social justice warrior and the person who thinks they're being discriminated against and more racism exists and needs to be abolished would be the perfect place. But now it's just become a wrestling show.
Yeah.
There's no mission statement anymore with that company, right?
No. So that's the only get back I could think would be that. But who knows? They're never going to reveal their hand when it comes to that shit with this kid. So best of luck, man. I'll probably see him on the road soon. Breaking. CM Punk returns to WWE backstage. If you didn't know, Punk came back for WWE backstage. They marked out for themselves. I tweeted about this. We talked about it on Russo. They got 10%, dude. Like no kick up in ratings, so they can do it next week and shit. I've talked about this on some other shows I've been on with Matt Schaffer and whatnot. Like this is exactly what I got my ass ripped for at OVW and not being able to spike the ratings, especially after they dropped 88% with Mr. 49 last week, to try and I bet that instantly had them on the phone saying, "Get Punk here." Like Fox made the call, like, I don't give a fuck, pay it. And they have them do a little dark walkout covertly to pop the internet. And people are like, "Well, but next week they'll tune in." Well, my answer is, hey, I got $1 million. You want it now or you want it next week? Right? Like, all you had to do was fucking tomorrow on a must see WWE Backstage in the final, in the first quarter hour of Raw, and then hit the music with the graphic, hit fucking Cult of Personality, dude, the internet would have fucking blown up. Everybody would have been talking about it on Twitter for the next 3 hours. They would have probably stayed to watch Raw just to see if there was a conversation from commentary team. You guys believe it? He might be back tomorrow at Backstage. Holy fuck. You think he's really going to show up? Everybody tunes into Backstage, probably would have got 800,000, but no, we're dumb fucks. Next week, we can wait till next week for it. Well, why wouldn't you want that 2 weeks in a row? Don't give me these little lame ass, stupid Mark excuses on Twitter trying to argue with me when it's about max value now. That's when you do it now, not next week. We'll get to the Viking Warriors first pre-tape after they've debuted for 10 matches. Oh, okay.
Well, I think there's a lot of interesting things that could happen here, and it's funny how this is a Fox deal and not a WWE deal. Although I'm sure they're trying to get him for Survivor Series in Chicago, which he can just hold him over a barrel. Supposedly, the AEW is still trying to get him signed, which would be, I can see him doing that as a big fuck you. Yeah, I work for Fox, but I work for AEW. Here's the thing. That show is about it. By the way, the presentation of they look into the camera like it's almost like, oh, Marks, we got something for you now. Like it's so like, what's the word I'm looking for with Renee Young? Like I like the whole thing. The same thing was like I got fired, but now I got the Fox money. It's like nah. Every time they turn around to that camera, it's like they're trying to diss the audience. Do you get that impression?
Oh, totally. Where it's like, we're interacting with you. You should be impressed that we're stars. Remember when I got banged on camera 98 times? From the chat room, a good point came in. I didn't want to pass it by. Master P will sign Jordan Miles, I bet, ACH, whatever he does.
Oh, that's right, for his wrestling.
I mean, it's supposed to be black and street, like hip hop. Like I'd make him champ out of the gate, to be honest with you.
But getting back to Punk, this is the interesting part. Because of that presentation and because it's supposed, I mean, nobody really gives their real opinion on anything on this show. So he's supposed to come in, and remember he said on some interviews, if it's not good, I can't act like it's good. I'm paraphrasing, but basically he's going to be honest. If he is not honest right off the bat about terrible shit,
exposed. But
then who's going to tune in the week after? You're right. Skip Bayless is one of the most popular talking heads on sports. He's making $5-6 million a year on Fox Sports 1, not even the main show. He made millions of dollars a year on ESPN because he's basically somebody, he's a troll in a lot of ways, but you listen, you want to hear what he has to say on the flip side of what the narrative is.
Yeah.
And if he's not going to go full Raw SmackDown review and really give the honest opinion about what is, I mean, unless he comes in and says everything sucks and I need to come back because this is fucking terrible. That could be the only way he can be honest and continue what he's doing without them getting mad.
I agree.
But you don't see it. That's not going to happen. If he comes in and he goes, yeah, well, both guys worked hard. And that's all he said. Bless their heart.
Bless their heart. Wow, this one guy had to sell for this. 2 WWE stars signed new contract extensions. Can't even get it out. I'm so shocked. The Miz
on extensions.
The Miz and Paige. The news first broke by Ryan Satin on Tuesday night's new edition of Backstage. While The Miz was already locked down through 2022, his new deal keeps him with the promotion through 2025. Wow, 6-year deal. Paige, on the other hand, had a contract coming due and is now signed through 2023. dude, I can't believe like that they re-signed her, bro. But it says, in case you missed it, the good contract signed so far from the only major bits of news on backstage. Punk made a surprise appearance, whatever.
What's the money on both those deals? They saying?
No, it didn't say.
And is hers Fox money? Jacob Allman have a crush on her?
Yeah, is she putting over Fox execs now, like to keep her job because she knows after the movie, she doesn't have any worth really. I mean, and when is the next tape going to drop? When's the next coke bender with whoever, where she goes and gets married and gets a ring tattooed on her finger and shows up at AEW in a lucha mask and then gets in a domestic dispute? Let's re-sign her, bro. Re-sign her. What could possibly go wrong now?
Where do they film that backstage? Is that in LA or where do they film that play?
I'm not sure where that studio is at, man. I imagine it might be.
So Punk's going to fly all the way out to LA every single week from Chicago.
Yeah, why not?
Booker flies out to LA. It's a hell of a. I mean, I don't know. They're all in different parts. I think Paige is in Orlando or maybe still England. I don't know.
Punk might be like, you know what, dude? Tired of being cooped up. Fly to LA every week, once a week during shitty Chicago winter. Get out and get out in the sun. This gig will last 3 months. Then I'll work WrestleMania, and then I'll do Blood Money 7 versus Austin, cash in. And by SummerSlam, I can do business on my way out, and I'll walk out with.
I think that's what he's looking for. He's looking for the Saudi money.
Oh,
he's going to get $20 million for that, and he'll walk away.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's if I was him, that's how I'd fucking work my value. Maybe
he will end up getting it. Maybe it will be him and Austin at WrestleMania.
I think that'd be Saudi money.
I'm just saying, he always wanted to do a wrestling. He would sacrifice the money to be a mark and get the main event. Remember, he said that's why he didn't want to come back.
Yeah, that could be it. I wasn't even thinking of that, but that's absolutely a possibility. And Austin looks incredible, definitely got one more in him and would like a piece of that Ben Solomon money. Baley, surprise WWE NXT appearance. What? That's right. During last night's WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, Baley made a surprise appearance, attacked Shayna Baszler. Baley continued with the WWE Survivor Series building, attacked the NXT Women's Champion from behind with a steel chair, with the weakest steel chair shot in the history of run-ins. I added that part. Before planting her face first into her own NXT Women's title, leaving her laying. Baley then took to Twitter to comment on a situation. She flew all the way from France to destroy the division that she and Sasha Banks built and to destroy Shayna. The chair shot was weak as fuck. She hits the gimmick. The girls are in the ring stupid. They give chase. Baley doesn't get out of there quick enough. She doesn't get behind the curtain, and the girl almost gets to her and then just stops and lets Baley go. Doesn't follow her. Looks so, dude, this is why it's developmental. This is why it's the shits. The NXT is not a brand, a third brand. Like, people are learning. That girl should know, like, she should follow Baley back in there, be like, I'm too close to you, punch me, throw me back out, like, you know what I mean? Something along those lines, or be smart enough to slow down. So everybody looked phony, everybody looked rotten, and I expect nothing less. And then some brilliant social media work to try and cover it.
And it's completely stupid bump to take on a fucking metal grate.
Yep.
Before a pay-per-view. Like, the chair shot should have been enough.
Absolutely.
And that's her new finish?
That's it.
What's it called? The page break?
I like that.
I do. They overthink. I'm an overthinker, but this is overthinking everything. But they underthink. Like, hey, make sure you don't try to really catch me. Like, nobody said that.
Yeah.
And she's right by the curtain, and they don't go tight to Shayna Baszler. Like, there should be somebody like Hunter going, go tight to Shayna Baszler. She's too close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just everybody's spread way too thin.
And they're factory trained workers. They don't have the timing. They don't know how to make something real. They're uninspired. Their passion isn't in it.
I'm glad that the heel Baley had tons of sympathy from Monday in order to get her revenge on the other heel, Shayna Baszler,
yep.
who dude, this whole thing of where we hate each other, but let's team up because we're loyal to the brand, that we get switched every 4 months to different brands. And then there's the wild card. And then there's dude, you got to be independent contractors. It's not like when Bellator comes in, all the UFC fighters now are going to fight together against Bellator. It's like, dude, I'm getting my fucking money. You can go,
dude. Just want to be on the card and getting paid, bro.
But I don't know what the disconnect is, where they just go to this. And Vince doesn't watch sports really, and he doesn't watch fucking movies or TV shows and understand these kinds of concepts.
Yeah.
That's why I can't believe Flex played baseball when he was like,
Flex.
Hit my ball.
I want to say shout out to WF Mikey T for 500 bits, JB Railsford for 100, and a stranger, Stranger's Alleys just kicked in some there too. So thanks guys for the bits this morning. Appreciate that.
I want to remind everybody that we are very close. I'm probably going to end up just paying for the balance of it for the moon camera.
Oh, Moon Fun.
So there might be the dedicated Moon channel.
Nice.
On YouTube.
Yeah, dude, just have her going all the time if you want to. Just, you got the login. Set it up before you go to bed. We'll have the moon out all night on Twitch.
Oh, I mean, it's going to be a YouTube channel. I'll try Twitch, though.
Yeah,
I'll try to see if I can stream on it. That would be interesting.
First time ever TLC match being advertised for WWE TLC pay-per-view, Stevie. Advertising is claiming the WWE pay-per-view will play host the first ever women's TLC match featuring the Kabuki Warriors defending their titles against Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. As well as that, Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin in a TLC match, and Rusev versus Bobby Roode in a traditional singles match is being advertised for that event. Of course, take these with a grain of salt, as there are only local advertisements to sell tickets, and the card is always subject to change.
Somebody's fucking my wife, but that won't be the most violent match on the show.
No, then we got to have the women's TLC. These guys are just going to have a straight up fucking pin me match, bro.
Do you think they're watching the Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys, Hardys, TLCs, and then women are trying to try to emulate it?
I think they are. What did I watch? I watched that. I watched I can't remember. It was definitely a Hardys and Edge and Christian though. I don't think I watched any ECW ones. I was like, fucking, I'm not for $150. I'm only falling off the fucking fourth rung. I'm not going.
So you're only getting about 50 less than these girls for the match.
Pretty much. I was like, there's good money. Depends on the money goes up. That's how higher I climb on the ladder. Pretty much $50 a run. Let's see. John Moxley issues open challenge to AEW roster, and Darby Allin answers. John Moxley may have been involved in one of the most violent, physical, exhausting matches of a career last night at AEW Full Gear. That didn't stop him from walking into Dynamite and inflicting even more pain on Kenny Omega's closest friends. Moxley made short work of Michael Nakazawa in his singles action earlier in the evening before issuing an open challenge for every single member of AEW locker room. The former WWE star claimed that after the carnage he witnessed in his unsanctioned match with Omega, there's no one left in the back who has the balls to step up to him in the ring. Later in the evening, Darby Allin added another big win to his AEW resume when he beat both Peter Avalon and Sean Spears in a triple threat match, thanks to, in part, bad boy Joey Janela interfering and brawling with the so-called chairman to the back. After the win, Allin grabbed the mic and simply stated, "John Moxley, I accept." So they're going to get married in Vegas. It'll be a nice little intimate ceremony, and they can go mark out for each other.
I want to see the incredible storyline where Michael Nagasawa is friends with Kenny Omega, because I didn't know up until that press release. Well, I mean, all of a sudden, like with the girl. Oh, he mentored the girl, as it's going on,
here's the video
package.
Yeah, the video package plays after. Oh, all right.
I'm still laughing my ass off that nobody that JR or somebody didn't go, "Isn't that the 9-year-old he wrestled?" Because dude, that would have been I don't know. And this whole thing, they're supposedly best friends, and he attacked his friend. I mean, come on, man. Wouldn't you attack one of the Bucks or Cody or somebody that they've been on TV with?
Everything was shotgunned again last night.
Where was it from, by the way?
Last night was Nashville.
Okay.
I mean, they're at week 4 in week 2 of the business of what they should be doing storytelling wise. So we're skidding all over the place of where it could go. And even another weird thing I watched last night, Brandy Rhodes, Awesome Kong claim another victim on Dynamite. Just 4 days after the duo assault and already beaten down Bea Priestley, Rhodes and Kong return to Dynamite to make short work out of Allie. As if physical harm wasn't enough, they took a long lock of her blonde hair to add to their creepy collection, much like we saw this past week at Full Gear. Kong, an Impact Wrestling Knockouts legend star on Netflix series Glow, has yet to wrestle on AEW Dynamite. This same can be said for Allie, although she has competed on 3 episodes of AEW Dark and just came tonight in search of bigger opportunity on TV. I was super happy to see Cherry Bomb on TV. Worked a lot of shows with her and Pepper. I think she's super great talent, and I like what she did in Impact. And now that she's there, I'm surprised Pepper's not, out there. There's guys on their roster that I see now. Pepper's probably look at him going, how the fuck do they have a spot?
He looks great. He can work. He got a great attitude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a shame that they cut a lock of the hair of one of the friends of Kenny Omega, because that story has been told afterwards. They're attacking Kenny Omega's friends all night. I'm just going to stick with that joke. Yeah. So what is Brandy and what was this transformation?
That's it. I tweeted out, wow. Scalping bitches is completely on brand, I guess. So now we're pulling out.
That's our good friend Mike Tyson comes out and beats him a little bit more. What is that? No, I mean, what is she for? What made her do that? Is she?
I don't know, dude.
Did she not progress with her wrestling enough?
Yeah, they were like, she can't wrestle. She's got to be a manager. So, like, who's she going to manage? Well, she can be a mouthpiece for Kong. Okay, but does she need to be? I'm a mystic and mystique. Like, you knew me as the brand manager and Cody's wife and the hot chick who's always tweeting out, bikini photos of herself. Now believe I'm the mystic master.
Well, who's saying she's not still doing that? I don't follow her on Instagram, but I'm sure that's happening.
Just nothing's going to matter. Like, she could easily have gone out and gotten Kong. She could have just had that heat. People don't think I'm set to do this job. Fine. Okay. You want to, and just be a bitch, and Kong's her hitter. Like, all these girls are going to get in line under me because I am the top girl. Look who my husband is. And now you're like, that's all she needed to do instead of I'm the mystic.
Well, she's not. I bet you she's not afraid. She's afraid to show that because she doesn't want to be hated. Deep down, you know what I mean? If she turned around and said, I'm here because of my husband and I'm this and that, but I'm going to abuse my power.
But we kind of heard that though from MJF of like him burying Cody, and not that there was shoot stuff in there, but all I could think about is our off camera conversations of what we know and thinking about how long till that happens. And that's pretty much the reality of what MJF was saying in the ring last night. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you heard that promo.
I didn't watch. I have to watch the highlights.
Well, you know what I'm referencing and what we think could happen in another aspect, right?
We'll talk about it off air.
Where they're involved. You just know what I'm saying. So, like, that is the interesting part to me. That
you move over the direction of the company's going with the players and the people in charge.
Yeah, and
falling to the same things of people who book themselves and are on stars on TV, right?
And how they treat other people behind the scenes. Setting
you
up.
Mean banning people from their own workplace in their presence?
Okay, now you know. All right, so
they had another one of their people from the building on the show last night. One of the girls.
Really? Okay.
It's like, dude, it's no different than any other carny fucking business of just getting your friends or doing favors. It's not 100% business.
Yeah,
it never will be. Don't claim it ever will be. You're getting paychecks for your friends.
Yep.
And if this is a true war, that shouldn't be the top priority. Pepper Parks and other people that Pepper's never been anywhere. If you see that guy with the way he looks, and especially with the hoodies he's wearing now and everything, what's that?
His new grindcore tag team is badass, but like he was on Impact for a little while. But dude, he looks like like you said, $1 million, man. Like no offense to Peter Avalon or anybody who's getting TV time, but come on, bro. Like, is that really what you want to waste that precious TV time, is trying to get a librarian gimmick over with a guy who wears a Rick Rude robe like he kind of bought it online? It looks, you know what I mean? Like it does. It's just like,
well, that kick can work. That kick can work, but the gimmick is
not trying to.
Yeah. The gimmick is so wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and the girl with him is super wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and it's a disconnect. Like, okay, this is phony wrestling. This isn't. It was supposed to be a sport. What is this doing here?
Right. Yeah. I'm not trying to down anybody who's on out there doing their shit, but like, there's TV time that's precious to go out there and be like that when you could have something else at a price that is not too exorbitant. I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of meat left on the bone there that they could be going for.
Let me ask you a quick question about it, because you brought it up, I think, on the Raw SmackDown review, that there's going to come like a thinning of the herd, and it's going to come to a repackage where the Killer Cross is, where probably Pepper Parks or people like the minimum size would be Pepper Parks, and then you'd have your monsters and other people. Much like WWE, these guys and girls, even though they've been on the indies, they're getting an opportunity and they're getting money supposedly at a very early age. I would hope they're saving their money, because like you said, maybe in a year or two, they could just get cut.
Yeah, dude.
It's like it isn't working, and maybe sooner. Hey, we're done. That's it. And now Marco's stunting other people. What do they do next? And what if they got to go back to making, they're not going to get $1,000 a night from just coming off AEW TV, I would assume, right?
Maybe the first year they'll be doing good on Comic-Cons and that type of shit, but in indies, but that's going to wear off pretty quick. And then it's going to be some where are they now stories for sure.
Barely 25 years old, much like developmental people in NXT that come out and they're like, oh, I'm not going to sell Polaroids in intermission or half hour of the, sell pics or my merch or
that's, you know what, dude, I kind of got to say, sounds like an asshole thing to say, but that's fine, because that's the grinder of the business. And if you're not going to fucking be able, and that's the new part of it. Like we were already in a big grinder, and now there's a whole new part of it they're going to have to get used to, and it's going to make some people and it's going to fuck some people over. To me, that's the same as FCW going under and Ethan Page and guys like that getting released. Are like, there was a lot of guys who, are they going to fucking make it or break it? And are they going to go back and fucking do the hard work on the indies to make themselves and show that, yeah, I got signed for a reason because I was that good? Or are you one of those motherfuckers that got signed because you're a one-trick pony and you don't have this or that? You got to go be creative and get over again, or you're going to give up and you really never should have been here anyway, as far as I'm concerned. So it'll be a bigger even thinning of the herd, than just within AEW at that point, I think. But yeah, there's guys that should have those spots that don't. And,
you have a famous saying, though, that they're going to realize, you think you're over?
You ain't over. Especially when you're fucking getting choked out at Jimmy's Seafood by the announcer. He really ain't over, bro. Not even a little bit. Backstage news on CM Punk's role back at WWE backstage. It was 100% a Fox call. The final call I'm bringing him in was 100% a Fox call, but one that WWE gave their blessing to. I think it's got to be Mr. 49,000. He should fucking thank Ryan Satin for fucking getting him signed overnight like that.
49,000. My God. How many downloads did we have during the week?
That week, 22,000.
And we're not on Fox. I'm not talking about FS1. We're not on Fox.
Yeah, that's just Hamin Media combined with Rusev.
No, I'm saying like that. This is Fox.
Yeah. I get you. Then that's why they're going to keep seeing it as we keep growing forward. And WWE wants to put podcasts on their network. They want to get shooty, or they want some real shit. We're going to have a built-in loyal audience where we can come to them and say, "Hey, you want that shit? When we get 50,000, okay." Well, especially when a show's hurting, that's a quick injection right there, dude. So I'm just going to keep building, adding on, watch, and with you, and that's what the value is going to be. People are like, well, what's the end game? What's the sell? I don't know what the end game sellout point is, but I'll tell you what, right now, having valued base that listens and will react and go to bat for you is far more valuable than a one-time sale and pop. And that's all they're working for. That's not what we've brought to the game at all.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it like off air about the potential even of Papadon's podcast with Star Wars.
Yeah,
you can if you find your niche, and you can make a living off ads. You can make a living off of in his case, Comic-Cons and Star Wars themed weekends, even Star Wars Celebration in Florida and like at Disney or all that stuff. We haven't even scratched the surface of trying to get ads and trying to get sponsorships, or if we're early in the affiliate thing on my side with the YouTube channel. There's a lot more hustling to do with that. So the WWE thing, we wouldn't go in there at any rate just to say, here's our show and you can super produce it and fuck it over and make it suck in a week. That's what I'm afraid with Punk. Like, I wonder, I think he would just go out and do whatever he wanted to do because it's live, right? So even if he sits through the production meeting, even if he wanted to sit through the production meeting, when they go live, he'll say whatever he wants. I can't see him playing ball to this extent unless he wants. When they
got to review the Rusev Lana storyline, what do you think he's gonna fucking say?
I mean, I'm not gonna watch it live, but I'm gonna watch it on YouTube to see what he says. What about when they turn around and talk about the girls' matches?
That's exactly. I was say, what's next after that? Yeah,
like a Baley promo, like or I mean, God, man, I can't see unless he was just like, again, he said, "Here's $1 million a year to work once a week. Here's $1 million."
Dude, he went to Fox. It's a Fox call, 100%. He will be. The selfie is coming within the next week of him and Jacob Ullman in control.
You don't think Jacob Ullman did it right then and there with him?
But it hasn't been released yet.
Okay. Or
I checked his Twitter.
Yeah. Jesus.
It wasn't out yet. Johnny Gargano.
This is exciting WWE news.
I did have something I forgot back in the Jordan Miles thing. If you don't mind taking a sequitur back, it was kind of an esoteric question.
I'm sure it's such a fun story too.
I think about this because you saw me post the rib thing with Congo Kong when he was putting his makeup on. It was right when the Prime Minister, what's his name, of Canada?
Trudeau,
Justin Trudeau, got the blackface revealed from an old Halloween party, picture. And I just put who wore it better, it's a rip, and tagged him and his students, and everybody popped big. But it does beg a question is we're talking about the Sambo stuff. So here's Kong, a black man who dresses in paint, but it's really blackface, representative of an African culture where we're wrestling satire, archetypes, and stereotypes. That's what we do. And then here's me, a white guy who does character acting, who tans and sometimes I'll put bronzer on just to make sure, because I got called out one time in Kentucky for being too white, and I was like, never again. And this is for the character. And it is, in this SJW time, appropriation of culture, but I don't give a fuck because my thing is all PTSD. And until the Saudis are brought to justice, I will never stop. So, like that's just it, dude. As shit goes on and I'm the voice of that, I could transition and do other things like you've seen. But the bigger question is, if we're talking about a black man in a Sambo racist shirt type of thing, here's Kong doing that. He's held accountable, I seem to get a pass from most Arabs that I interact with, worker wise. All those guys in Lebanon and whatnot love me, and other dudes who are in the gimmick don't really resent me, And if you want to talk about it too, that you could go with Muhammad Hassan being Italian as well, and that this goes back to episodes of The Sopranos where they talk about Columbus Day and they're against the Indians. And then the one dude for the crying Indian, gif or whatever it is back in the day that dude was Italian. So
Oh, really?
yeah. So, all this type of shit of cultural appropriation that's gone on for decades, but it's not right to cross that line when it's a black man with the Sambo thing. However, it is still going on with other races and other things, man. Who's in the wrong? Where's the line? Should anybody really give a fuck anymore?
Wow. I mean, that's
that's a lot to unpack.
Well, it's a lot to unpack, but what you're doing more there is, but just like the Joy Behar thing with when Donald Trump Jr. pointed it out on The View, and they went nuts. And then the Whoopi Goldberg, it's not rape about Roman Polanski.
Yeah.
All you're doing is showing the double standard and the hypocrisy of it. So I think anybody that turned around, I'm sure Congo Kong was okay with you putting that up there too.
You don't give a fuck.
Well, you see what I mean.
Who's going to come in Kong and say something? You're going to go walk up onto him. How dare you do that?
For the culture. Barney Rubble him. But dude, no, I mean, that's all you just trying your best. If anybody with that particular thing and your gimmick or anything, trying so hard to find something to be offended by. And I think that's what I think in a way too, that could have hurt ACH, because I think at that point, maybe they were fucking with him. Maybe they were doing all these things. Maybe they did shut down the fraternity type thing to support Kofi, but it was only because of their place on the card.
Would you go super strong with it and be like, you want me to do blackface? And he comes out in whiteface like every week, not like a clown, but like how Dead Presidents was and things like that. You know what I mean? Or you could come out like Clayton Bixby and like really just fuck with them. And like, you want me to be dancing black guy? No, I'm going to be a white guy if that's what it takes to get over here. Like really stick it to him.
Wow. I don't think he's thinking about any good business right now.
Man.
I think what he's thinking of is, I got to get on social media. I gotta just like be angry, and people are turning on him for it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like anything, I think, like you said, and like we'd said it in the first part of the show, when he made that huge sharp left turn and called Jay Lethal that name, it's like, what? It's like, it's like saying, they're racist, the shirt, this and that. And I got the emails, I got the text. And you know what? The Conspiracy Horseman show sucks. I hate it. It's such a stupid podcast.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that. They're like, what the fuck? You're crazy. What does that have to do with anything?
It's funny you said that, because one of my favorite scenes of all time, that I watched this movie 100 times, is
you said if Dan Epstein didn't kill himself at the end, then he would have been fucking,
then he would have been over as fuck, bro.
Yeah,
that would have been good biz. Is Son of a Woman, Al Pacino, and he's doing if I was a younger man, I'd take a flamethrower to this place. And he goes, but I'm too old, I'm too fucking blind. And then he keeps going, and he goes, Charlie, Peter, Harry, wherever you are, fuck you too. They're just they thought they were over for a minute in the crowd. They're like, yeah, us. And fuck you too. Yeah. I popped, dude. I could watch that 100 times, but it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same derivative. Let's burn this motherfucker to the ground. I don't give a fuck. But guess what? He's not too old. He's not too fucking blind. He's young and had his whole future ahead of him, and he fucking Seth Rollins burned it down, bro. In the wrestling world, behind the scenes, the fucking boys who love this shit are like, it's so good. Oh, shit. Poor kid. Johnny Gargano will not be cleared to compete at NXT War Games. Gargano's not cleared to compete. He will not be participating on any of the tri-band battles at Survivor Series, nor will he be competing in a match against Baylor at NXT TakeOver. So Baylor's big "my past is my future" is all over with once again. Already.
That whole thing with Gargano, if he was in the ring with those other people from the other two brands, it's probably a blessing in disguise.
Right. He would have looked real small.
So what is this, a concussion related thing?
I'm not sure. It doesn't say what it is, but I gotta believe it, dude. The bumps we've seen him take.
That's a scary thing, because that's not anywhere near his first one.
No, dude. No, and just those cells. I mean, I like the way he sells, but when his eyes are glazed over and He's just going on instinct. Scares me a lot, dude. And even when they got heat on Tommaso, you know, when he had his match, dude, he's taking neck stuff fucking from Miz. I'm like, what? Why, guys? Why even do a headlock? Why would you even grab that on him, dude? Wrist lock, take him down, work his legs, let him come back out wrestle you, great reverse on the wrist. Never grab his head. Never grab Tommaso's head again. Never.
I don't let anybody do it to me.
No, don't grab.
I very often I might take a belly to back or something or a neck breaker, but I don't want anybody like rocking or, you know, just twisting my neck up.
I sat right up in my chair. I was like, holy fuck, what? Wow.
Because his neck is here's the thing. Here's what they don't understand. Just because it's on the internet, it's on social media, you have these injuries. This is the part of realism that you don't want in wrestling, where he really has a hurt neck, so you have to attack the neck.
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
No.
You can try to go for it when you're trying to do some kind of heat for a beatdown angle or something,
right.
but not for a 10, 15, 20-minute match over and over.
First match on TV.
I don't care how fake it is. You got to lean weight into that. You got to do this. You got to put in, you know, you get even a form that a back and a neck that's your upper shoulders is going to rock you. I mean, it's just not. And then you take the bump on the apron and that glazed eye thing. The sell's good, but he's really got to minimize it.
Yeah.
Because once you're like that, you can't make a comeback.
No, and he does almost every time.
That's what I mean. So if you really did get knocked out and you got to make a comeback, I mean, it's just, it's lost all its luster and all its, shit, he's out. Because he's out every match.
Nice.
Nice.
Sorry. You just hit me to oil sales. Jerry Lynn to undergo surgery for bulging disc after he misses StarCast Full Gear. An update on Jerry Lynn, who missed this week's StarCast convention and Full Gear promotion. He's a coach and producer for the company. After going through the results of his recent MRI with a doctor, Lynn noted that he'll be undergoing surgery on November 29th for a bulging disc. Good news is it's 3 to 4 weeks recovery, he wrote on Twitter. Yeah, shout out to Jerry Lynn, whole effing show. Hopefully, you know, if he's got to be on the road and traveling, that only being off for Christmas and maybe being back by New Year be a good look and be a lot more comfortable if he has to put in the road miles than fucking jacking his back all up, you know, being hurt and putting those miles in where you're doing irreparable damage. So hopefully everything goes well. Yeah.
I mean, the wrestling never hurts, but the flights and the drives and the hotel room beds for a bulging disc in your, isn't it back or his neck?
I think his back.
Bulging day. What did he have last time? The hip surgery?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's put so much into it. I'm glad he's got a job there.
Yeah.
He can, you know, he deserves to have a job as long as he wants to have one.
I wish he was there to stop some of the stuff from the death match.
Well, we have to think like what is going on back there with Jerry and Billy Gunn being agents, and then Arn and Dean are agents as well.
Arn, Dean, Billy, and you got Jeff Jones.
Well, that doesn't count.
All right. Yeah, but who's not calling off Moxley and him to like, this is not the right spot? Meaning Tully, I imagine Tully takes care of all the business with Spears.
That's violence, but it's still, you know, I'm going to let you know the Wildcat Sports full show from Revolution Rumble is going to be up sometime today. Right. My match I'll have up on my YouTube video today too. So as you're listening to this, it's already going to be live on the YouTube channel.
Nice.
So check it out.
My TLC match with Kong versus the Dirty Vets also up there, and no hate on Zender and Tiberius, who does the their priest, and they call him, you know, who did the voiceover on it, but he's more their tech guy and not their voice, you know, their voiceover dude. So if people are interested in it, want to call that match, that T and Kong and the Dirty Vets, and maybe do that, submit it. I'll do a watch along with maybe some of my favorites. I was talking to Jamin Olivencia about doing it. He's kind of excited, so could make some fun out of it. But yeah, I can't wait to watch your hardcore match there, man, with Hawks Jr.
Thanks.
Arn Anderson reveals which WWE superstar he believes is underutilized. During a conversation with the media during a recent StarCast event, Arn's revealed which man he believes is the most underutilized. Anderson believes that Luke Harper is the guy. A lot of guys wonder why I pick out Luke. Luke's 6'4", about 300 pounds. He's trimmed down, and I would probably say he's 250. His thought process before he goes into the ring, his planning, his ability to go out and whatever. If he has a lesser opponent, to be dominant. If he has an opponent of equal value, he knows how to get that guy over, said Arn. And also Arn cut the best promo of the week on Tosh, Daniel Tosh, as this feud starts. Has been going on, but Arn couldn't say anything for the last 10 years. Apparently, Arn scared Daniel Tosh when he was a kid, and he's hated him ever since. And then in response to Arn's promo, Daniel Tosh started the Hey Arn Anderson podcast. So, which I believe Jim Duggan, Hacksaw, my mortal enemy, was one of the first on there as a rib segment. So who knows? Maybe I'll reach out, see if I can bury Arn a little bit. And I think Rip would be good on there. And we'll see where that goes. But if you haven't watched that Arn Anderson promo on Tosh, it's pretty goddamn good. But I could not agree more. Luke Harper is, again, a top 5 guy who should be in the free market in the house. Dude, if you could bring into AEW Killer Cross, Pepper Parks, Luke Harper, Congo Kong, I won't put us over, but I'm trying to think of a couple others. Tyson Dukes, who you got? Luke. I would say Luke off the top of your head too, right? Could go.
Oh, Luke, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a few guys at Wildcat, but Luke would be the top one from there to go to AEW.
And I would also sign fuck's his name? The movie guy.
David Arquette.
David Arquette. And right there's 5. Dude, like I said, no hate on the kids working their gimmicks, but do the librarians stack up to anybody I just mentioned? Do Freddie Mercury and Rio stack up to anybody I just mentioned? Like, not to, like I'm saying, I don't want to be like, oh, this Jungle Boy is good. Sure, you can get him over with value and that stuff, but is that money well spent compared to everybody there I just mentioned is a draw?
Luchasaurus has lost a lot of momentum since being off TV with his hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Why are they not doing vignettes with him and Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt?
Those guys should be proactive. They should be proactive in doing them themselves so they can stay in the mix. And because their audience is internet, even if it's on YouTube, on the Elite channel or AEW, that could be some of the biggest draw stuff going on if they're having fun getting their characters over, but there's nothing going on with that right now.
I don't know. There might be more to that. Maybe Luchasaurus doesn't want to be part of that deal. He wants to do his own thing, which I think you buy as much time in that act as you can and let the dust settle, and then you do your own thing.
Right. Stay valid. Pay it off. Maybe you transfer right out because you do all this character stuff, and then the first match back, you're elevated and you're on your way to something else.
Yeah.
Cesaro discusses potentially working with Sheamus again. Swiss Cyborg recently spoke Sportskeeda. He said, "We the People is still over." What? I was lucky to be in some very great tag teams.
I'm just laughing.
Yeah, I know. That's weird that I would say that. I was lucky to be in some very great tag teams with people I've gotten along with tremendously well. Jack Swagger, Tyson Kidd, and Sheamus. We the People, by the way, that was our idea, and it's still over. So a shot at Jericho there. However, Cesaro admitted that right now he is focusing on a singles career despite still talking with Sheamus. It's great. Being a part of a tag team is a different challenge than obviously having success as singles. I'm really stubborn about trying to be successful as a singles wrestler, so that's why I'm focusing on right now. I still talk to Sheamus pretty much every day, giving each other crap, just like you saw on TV. I got a feeling they'll put them back together. Like they can't. He doesn't see money in Cesaro. Sheamus, for some reason, can stay over with the Office. How he plays it, I don't know. I don't really know the guy, but they both look awesome. They both can work awesome. They took an odd couple tag team, gave them a cool entrance, and they got it over. They're both fucking probably some of your best workers on your roster. And it's just a goddamn shame that they can't see the money in them separately and how to get them over because they're both undervalued even as the bar, in my opinion. Like, okay, I think we've gone as far as we can with that. Let's really do something to get them over. Even if it's, you know, what would be, in my opinion, what would be cool? If we make movies around here, pal, why don't they get to be the movie? If he looks like Jason Statham and the other guy's fucking jacked, what if their whole segment was just 3 minutes of a movie throughout the whole year, and then you put all those 3 minutes together and it became the whole movie, you know, at the end?
I mean, you just thought of that off the top of your head, and it's way better than anything that they'll come up with. They're just going to go back. Their past is their future, I guess, or whatever it is. I mean,
that's the whole MO, dude. That is the whole MO right now.
But it just makes it look like it's 2 steps back, even though they were over as a tag team, which basically was an accident that they slipped into because they had that best of 7 or however many matches on Raw. And they're like, we don't know what to do. Let's put them together.
Yeah.
That's
man.
the end of that.
Yeah. I don't know. There's no hope for that shit. Let's see this one. There might not be hope for this. Bully Ray praises Rusev, Lana, and Bobby Lashley, despite the fact the angle between them not exactly blowing people away. Bully Ray praised all 3 of them. Hall of Famer said that even though the fans are voicing their disdain for the angle on social media, he believes all 3 are doing their absolute hardest to get the angle over from his Twitter. Got to give credit where credit's due. Despite their fans hating it or disdaining, they're doing the hardest to get it over. So the copy repeats the tweet. Why politic and put that over when they're not trying their hardest to get it over? They're like, if they were trying their hardest, they would say, this is shit. Why am I reading sex just to pop the boys in the back and know that this whole promo is to make me look stupid? Like, that's not trying your hardest to get it over. That's just going along to get along.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how Lashley fits into this whole punishment angle. What Lashley did.
Leave for Impact.
And they're finally getting back at him for it.
Yeah, that's all I could think of. He did say 1 or 2 things on Impact, nothing that was too shooty. But the fact that they haven't brought in American Top Team, made him Brock's #1 opponent, and like go that way, they're just they're so fucking stupid.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, are we going to look back on this because it's so ridiculous that it's going to be entertaining? I really don't think so.
No,
this is Mae Young hand type stuff.
Yep. This is Bobby Lashley's sis, dude. Bobby Lashley's gotten it worse than anybody. Bobby Lashley's sisters, Sammy with a training course. There was something else they did to him. Rock and Robin. Oh, was that the sisters? No, that was
Rock and Robin was, and also showing his ass with the
showing ass, bending over, showing my asshole. Like, dude, like
Vince must have watched Neverland that week, and I got an idea.
If anybody should be on Periscope telling motherfuckers to fuck off for the culture. Dude, you know, Bobby Lashley, you could run a whole B-roll on since he's come back of, you want to make the argument if WWE's racist or not?
Well, you got a lot more than the ACH t-shirt gimmick to go off of. He could have pointed out Street Profits. He could have pointed out the Bobby Lashley. He could have pointed out every single character they tried to. Yeah.
Rod Killings. You can go all through all
Slick.
Slick.
As like people like to be nostalgic with that gimmick, it was Black Pimp, right?
Yeah. It was Iceberg Slim. Oh man, Andrade mocks Ben Cara for requesting his release from WWE. I'm just going to keep saying Ben Cara because then when they swap me out, people Mandela effect. Wasn't he called Sin Cara? No, he's always been called Ben Cara. I look forward to my first trampoline entrance over the top rope. Yesterday, Ben Cara revealed his requested release from WWE, and his on-screen rival Andrade is taking to Twitter to mock him for the decision. Andrade taunted Sin Cara on social media with a Google translation showing his tweet said, "I could retire Rey Mysterio, but Sin Cara better run, retire or quit, ha ha ha," showing no one cared about the mass wrestler's decision to quit the company. After Sin Cara did a big screenshot, "Liberación de contrato de Sin Cara," liberate me from my contract, Ben Cara.
Wow. It's an awful place to be in when they're not going to do anything with you and they don't care, but they won't let you go do your own thing. You see what I mean? It's like,
well, big update.
You think you suck.
Big update. Sin Cara still has 3 years left on his contract. Sin Cara asked for his release from WWE today, but there's no word whether he will be released.
Have fun.
Yeah. And our final story today.
That's just that tells you all you need to know. I'm not happy here. You're not doing anything with me. You don't fucking consider me to be a talent to do anything with. Let me go.
Yeah.
No. But you don't want to do anything with it. Well, we're can continue. You think we weren't doing anything with you before. Now you're doing something. You're losing every week on TV. You know what I mean? Just proves the point, right? There can also be with the pepper belly reference back in the day that Conan, that's just where we got the story from.
Yeah.
We got it from Ray. The pepper belly thing leads right into why didn't Jordan ACH say that?
Yeah. I bet he doesn't even know. I bet he has no idea.
Or he just, we can't speak for him, but that's not his lane.
Yeah.
But altogether, racism is racism. You have all these examples.
Hogan, Hogan's there. The Blizz love us, dude, with his kids, and then dropping N-bombs, kicked out of the Hall of Fame, fucking brought back to the Hall of Fame, be brought back for blood money. Like, there's no lines, dude. There's no lines. This is the most carny marketing and sports entertainment is the most ageist, racist, sexist thing that you can take part in because we're all stereotypes. So the people inside it who have to interact with these other stereotypes or trying to do social justice, you're just going to keep running into the motherfucking wall, dude. People want stereotypes and escapism so they can get their underlying feelings of fear, which manifest themselves in racism and prejudice, out via fake combat. The more you try and go against that fucking tide, the worse it's going to be for you. Like, you're not going to have a woke product that is based on phony wrestling. You need heat. And to get heat, you have to have stereotypical archetype character heels to do that. And you do that through show, don't tell. And you do that through referencing things that are familiar that we all have as a tribe as a common interest. So I don't know what to tell you creatively. And here's what Shane explained to the WCW stars learning that WWE had bought the company in our go home story.
Because we went from stop thinking about it, I don't need any more ideas, we're not going to do it, to we're back in the running, we might do it, to, well, guys, we're the proud owner of WCW. And we didn't know what that meant at that time during that week. And I don't think that they had even announced or told anybody with WCW.
You guys had no idea.
We had no idea.
Close.
No.
I was volunteered. So Vince, my dad says, all right, get on a plane, go down there and take care of this. I was like, all right, thanks. It's like, really?
You guys know what to do.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. I go, talk about going into hostile waters. Yeah. And we got there, we landed, you and Jerry.
Yeah. With a brigade of security.
No, we come in. And then we said, all right, we asked you to have everyone in one certain area. So there's a huge room. I forget what it was, lunchroom, wherever it was, or locker room. And then I was like, all right, here we go. And we're walking in and addressing everyone. A lot of the guys I knew, obviously, through different iterations of being through WWE. And something along the lines of, I said, those that want to be on board, we're very open arms and welcome. Those that don't, okay, we completely understand your position and don't want to be involved with that, and we respect that as well. But as of right now, just to let you guys all know that WWE has purchased WCW, and everyone, that's the first time I heard it, because everyone was.
It's the first time they heard it right there from Nechosaurus himself early on. Let me put this down back. Put the game back down.
So what show was that on?
That was Table for Three with Bruce Pritchard. Who was the other one there? I don't know if they caught to him on camera. Sorry, they crapped out. And Johnny Ace. So interesting Table for Three. I'm not sure if you could hear that. It was a little bit low as I have to adjust the mic and 3D printing's going on in the background. But what was it like on the other side of that coin, Stevie, where they told you guys they were coming?
It was Cleveland, Ohio, I think, for that Raw. All I remember, besides the fact that, bought WCW and they were doing all these pre-tapes, was that that was like the first time I ever saw like Shawn Michaels like not with it, if you know what I mean. It was like pretty apparent. And I'm not saying anything for bad or good. I just heard story and I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, he wasn't falling over shit or anything, but he was like, he was out there. You know what I mean? I kind of stayed away from him because I was like, oh shit. I mean, I've been doing this fucking kick for so long. You turn on me, like, you know what I mean? By the way, fuck you, Mark. Fucking son of a woman thing.
Harry, Tommy, fuck you too.
Yeah. So, outside of that, I mean, we all knew. We're sitting at the monitor watching this, and we all knew that like every bit of leverage, every one major place to work at is done.
Yeah.
And they started like people are talking about, they started renegotiating contracts. They started cutting deals or saying like, whatever. And they were bringing in WCW.
Have you ever looked at your career and the fact of like, holy shit, look at how I dodged bullets of drama by like, sure, I was this in ECW, and if I was a second player to Raven and I got great spots and then did my own bit with my own crew there, got the BW over and the satire, you get out, go with Raven before any of the ECW, WWE shit happens, go to WCW, get over, do your stuff there, and then you leave again before you have to be a part of that fucking buyout. You're already over there. And sure, you're, not in the mains where your, abilities could afford you to be or whatever politics positions. But when it comes to like, oh shit, here comes this fucking mollywop on the company, you've always kind of been ahead of it to get out before really getting stung.
Feels that way, or at least I wasn't I was so under the radar during those times that, I was either not there or wasn't really figured in to even be WCW versus, and then when they did the fucking alliance thing, which was terrible, I'm just standing there in the parties about dude, what a fucking, you talk about leaving billions of dollars on the table.
Yeah.
You bought every company in the world. You could have dream matches for years to come.
For years.
You could have kept the show separate with separate TVs, kind of like they're trying to do now. Mm-hmm. It could have already have been that way in the early 2000s. Think about that. Yeah. You're trying to replicate an ECW, WCW, and WWE with these three brands.
Just own them and let them be run. Let them run independently with the way they were style-wise, instead of, I've got to control it all. But there's value.
I heard that was initially what they were going to try to do. But I think Vince wanted to show everybody that he beat Turner.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing with ECW, they were owned by WWE when I was there, with PWO. We just didn't know we were owned by Vince. Sure. And Paulie was getting a check. I don't like to look back on stuff, but it's kind of, I mean, I've been in a lot of different things. It's just funny because guys like us, and we're all lumped into this, me, you, and even to a degree Russo, which is the most egregious of all. We're looked at for some reason as not being viable, like, sources of information. None of us, and if you're talking about on a WWE level, Russo and I, no drugs, no alcohol, no mind-altering things of any sort.
Yeah.
Yet the word of people who have done all those things and been in rehab for them many times are taken like that's the spoken word of God. All three of us look at things and we don't pick sides, really. We just call those, see them. So both sides potentially hate us for it, or ignore us, or marginalize us.
Sure.
It's very, very weird to see in wrestling that everybody gets, in a world where nobody ever got offended by anything in a few eras in this business. Now everybody gets fucking butthurt over everything. Mm-hmm. It's like the most, dude, I'm not a tough guy by any means. I'm not speaking of a physical fight or anything, but I've never seen the sport turn into a bigger bunch of pussies than the current era it has. It just,
absolutely.
Like I never would have thought that we're seeing major people that used to be fucking like people you'd be like, oh, I ain't gonna fuck with that guy, sell for people on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, dude.
Where
Just
14, 15 weeks ago, I just said, I'm going to tweet shit out through a share on YouTube for a video or something I'm promoting, but I'm not going to read the replies or the mentions. People can get mad about that. But I just chose to eliminate that noise and that stuff from my life. I don't have a morbid curiosity to see people that, you know, I mean, maybe they won't, but you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like there's this morbid curiosity, like I want to see who buried me on Twitter today so I can go back on them.
Go back.
Even Disco goes back and forth with people.
Big
It's
time.
fake fucking wrestling. Who cares?
That's
Who
gonna
fucking-
wind up to bite him in the ass too, as dealing with. Sure, we have plenty of guys, you know, obviously we're in the industry, so we call everybody marks, but our producers who aren't in the wrestling biz, who do great work for us and bust their ass. But you know, everybody who's a civilian who's not in the biz is a mark. So whatever. But the fact that those guys, and you know, I love listening to Conan's opinions too, and I like Feeney as their producer, got no problem with that. But other guys who are podcasters who bought their way in and are trying to, I hear it, they're marks, they're super marks, who fucking want to swing swords with them like on a 1-to-1 level. They don't know, like Arn said, I swim with the sharks, tiger sharks, mako sharks, bull sharks, great whites of all different. You got to know how to deal with them all. These kids are chum in the water. And all the fucking Disco and Conan are doing is giving them access for a price, right? But that's going to come with an even heavier, bigger price because those kids are going to cut their own throats. They're going to get too close. They're going to fly too close to the sun and get way too comfortable because they're just little minnows swimming with fucking bull sharks who could eat them at any fucking time they want to. And it's weird to me that Disco sells for these marks and goes back and forth with my understanding. It's our base to some degree, and smart questions I'll answer, but he'll go back and forth on trigger stuff, which is weird to me, dude. I don't get that.
I agree. And I just don't choose to have it all right. Maybe it's fun. Maybe it's entertaining. Maybe it's good to have the back and forth. But to me, there's never going to be a resolution in that thread to go back and forth. Like, this is what I believe. Oh, this is what, you know, and of course, it got him booked. It got him booked on Impact.
It did.
So it worked to a degree.
It did. My get back on him. If someone's talking shit, I go, did you even watch SmackDown Live? No, I didn't. I can't. Well, then fuck it. Whatever you're trying to tell me about the fucking show is bullshit. You don't know. You didn't sit through it all. Like, why would I get triggered by you to fucking go back and forth in a 6-7 fucking thread thing? Nope. Mm-hmm. Stevie, man, that's it. We made it, dude. You had a week off, and this was I think you paid your penance having to get through this one, dude. This was a rough one.
I'm definitely gonna take a nap until Tuesday. Gonna do it all over again.
Yeah.
It's strange, man. It's strange how we talk about it every week. I mean, I love doing the shows. I love doing the Raw SmackDown review, Master Shoot with you. I love doing the locker room, but man, it's just the subject is kind of exhausting. It's not like, oh, you have to talk about wrestling. What a bad. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I wish it were better, man. I wish it were better to talk about more stuff, but it's not going to get better. It's not ever, ever, ever going to get better. Punk's not going to save you. Punk's not going to save all of you.
Let's do our top 3 then, because there was some good in the week. And I thought about Babyface tweeting this out yesterday. But I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to be that fucking guy. Top 3 of the week for me was Joey Janela versus Spears and Tully in there. I loved Arn's promo on Tosh. That was number 2 for me. And then number 3 was the B team getting over with comedic lines, saving that fucking shit segment with Tyson Fury and Braun. Guys who are just on the road, traveling hundreds of miles to come out and do 90 seconds and get some lines over on a marker painted t-shirt. If that's what stood out the most to me in 3 hours, that should say to WWE, we got big fucking problems. And it should also say bonus those guys $2,000 each for the fucking amount of miles and bullshit that they go through to fucking come out here and can get over as one of the most memorable things in 1 minute. Those were my 3 highlights of the week. Stevie, do you have any?
Well, the highlight for me will be, seeing what those 2 guys do when they sit them home for 3 months for getting over.
Yeah.
They'll
Right.
be punished for it. They're going to be docked $2,000. They're not going to be bonused.
Yeah.
I'd have to go with I'd have to go with the Janela match too. And like you just talked about problems, that talks about the problems with the Full Gear pay-per-view right there in the direction of the company when Joey Janela has one of the best matches
Yeah.
on the show. Honestly, I can't remember too much, man. That's also another problem. When I can't pick 3 things I liked, it's not that I didn't like anything. It's just that it's so many hours. It's so much stuff run together. And maybe there's going to be something from AEW or NXT. I haven't had a chance to watch either one yet.
Okay.
But do you see what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, there is such a thing as oversaturation now. They've gone far and above beyond that. Now, if we've had all these shows were an hour, like now we're talking about like, we got to make a fast-paced show. We got to put a lot in an hour. I think that the companies with the length of the shows have too much of a crutch to fuck up. When Russo had an hour of Raw before there was a SmackDown, he had to get it right.
Yeah.
It was an infomercial.
The more time can expose you, because if you have 1 bad segment, 2 bad segments, that brings down the whole rate of the show. Now we have 9 out of 10 bad segments and only 1 segment that's a ray of light. So the more time you're out there, I can get over real well in 8 to 12 minutes. I've worked 15 to 20 now. You want me to go pull 30? Chances of me getting over are going to be a lot less than when I had 8 to 12. Okay. So more is not better in that, you want to give them a little bit, take it away, leave them wanting more. And unfortunately with 3 hours, there's no possible way to fucking do that. No one's going to sit through 3 hours and go, I want more. My ass doesn't hurt at all. Stevie, my ass is going to hurt because I'm going to the gym shortly after this. It's going to be a big, CrossFit day. I did right before Horseman yesterday. You let me blow off some steam. I'm super appreciative of that. And then I went and did 35 minutes, 10 and a half miles on the bike. So cardio was yesterday. I'm going to lift heavy today and do some Muay Thai to freak out the old fuckers at Planet Shit List.
Nice. You didn't get thrown out yet? No lunk alarm?
Well, there's the all new staff because the one guy who was there, Yancey, they had the big relaunch and I helped actually get him over because all the brass was there. I went up to him. I put him over huge. He put me over with the pseudo celebrity wrestling stuff. He's a jack dude and he's into boxing and helping out kids in Syracuse. And they promoted him to a bigger club there. And he's got a chance to work, I think, more kids on his charity boxing wise. So kind of sucks for my gym because he was a great manager. So they got all new staff in there now. So those guys kind of get used to me freaking them out a little bit, but I'm not going to fucking change. They're going to fucking change.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
So William Alcia, by the way, just one last thing, says that AJ Lee is currently in talks with Fox to appear occasionally on WWE backstage as well.
You're not flying out of here. I'm not staying here all winter by myself. I'm coming with you. No way. Well, fuck. Well, I'll see if I can get you on the show then. I guess. Yeah, you better see if you can get me on the show. Oh, good times. Great oldies, Stevie. Where can we save Stevie 5? Manscaping, StevieRichardsFitness.com. What's going on?
Yeah, you got StevieRichardsFitness.com. Choose your program, choose your video. I actually got some tips from Ryan at Force USA. He runs a lot of SEO and some of the website stuff, and I changed it around with some better descriptions of the programs and the keywords that go in there. So I want to thank him for that. But that code Stevie5 is actually for ForceUSA.com as well as DiamondbackFitness.com. Force USA is the strength and functional equipment along with accessories up there. And then Diamondback Fitness is, if you follow my stories, is what the spin bike and the treadmill that I have in my gym. Excellent pieces of cardio. So you can save money using that code. And a little bit comes back to me so I can continue. It's kind of like the Amazon affiliate link.
Sure.
So a little bit comes back to me so I can continue to do content, and also the Amazon affiliate link. These things don't cost you any money. There's no donations or anything. You just shop like you normally do, and like I said, a little bit
It's
goes
just
back
like
to-
going through Stevie's storefront to get all the Amazon stuff you want, and then you know that little micro payment when you do that is going to the Moon Fund. People were asking. Actually, I think they logged on after you had said we're close. So, I mean, don't make him come out of pocket. As much great content as he gives us here, that's the least you can go is through his Amazon affiliate link. I was approved for one, but I might have not done shit with it, so I'll have to go through it again. But
there's a certain time limit if you don't get people clicking on it. Yeah. Also, I mean, people have talked about doing the PayPal.me thing on the website or through the thing. I know a lot of YouTubers do that. I'd rather you just, if you're going to buy shit, just click on that link. You know what I mean? I buy mostly everything from Amazon anyway. And this other with Force and Diamondback Fitness, I've worked with them for a couple of years or more. So they're people I trust, they're people I believe in. There's other affiliate stuff up in the descriptions on my videos of fitness companies that the people I like and know, and they're good people. So I stand behind that stuff. So I said, I think on Raw SmackDown review, I think it was that I said, too many fitness people live in this closed off ecosystem where it's all I do is my yoga and all I do is this and that, which is a bunch of bullshit because you're standing there as you're pushing it. You got fucking a Smith machine behind you with dumbbells and other shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't, you know what I mean? I hope people are smarter than that. My programs are really a springboard to a foundation of going to Planet Fitness, of opening your own home gym up, buying your own equipment, or you get injured, you need to rehab, or you're on the road, you don't have access. That's why I created it. So,
yeah.
And then,
plus you're a guy who's had surgeries, you need the rehab, you know the yoga, you've taught it. Dude, I slept on yoga for years, and then it started saving me in my mid 30s to early 40s. So, and this will be a year for me, I think, coming up pretty close, because I think I worked October last year versus Muhammad Hassan, and I saw myself and I was just like, come on, dude, this was a pivotal match for you, and look how you look. And I told you I was going to step up, and here I am, 45, 50 pounds lighter, stronger, as I try and change my frame to get TV ready, in case there's opportunities there, and tagging with Kong and GGP, I got to keep up and do what I got to do, and for myself. So I challenge anybody here before we get into Thanksgiving, where you're, sucking down all the carbs and then the sweets that come with it, all the way through Christmas with cookies and that shit. Sure, you can have a little. I'm not saying I'm not going to, but let's just step up and re-challenge and refocus each other before we get to January when everybody fucking jumps on it. If you can make the change now, then that's a far better thing than following a trend and feeling guilty. And hey, yeah, fucking, I'm going to have 2 cookies, but you know what? I'm putting on the hoodie, taking some C4, and I'm going to fucking go hit the bike for an extra 10 minutes longer and do 13, 14 miles. And, that's just how you're really going to change your mind, your lifestyle. And whether you're doing Stevie Richards Fitness at home because you don't want to go to Planet Shit List because every grandma with a big fucking cottage cheese ass is out there farting up the treadmills for the next 2 months. You want to, you don't want to shovel the snow off the car, hop on the bands, bro. That's what it's all about. That's what I'll be doing a lot more this time around. So shout out. I just see Strangers Alley hit us up with 501 bit cheers. And also people were asking, is it for the P900 or the P1000 camera, Stevie? Have you decided?
I'm going to probably go with the P900. The P1000 has a few different things, but it's really the zoom. It's really the zoom, and probably right now about 110 short of it. So, and it's twice the P1000's twice the price. And it's, as far as specs, it shoots in 4K as opposed to 1080p, but 1080p is good anyway with 83x zoom. It has a mic jack. I don't really need that. Also, shoots in RAW for pictures, which might be a little good, but I want the JPEG would be good enough to just kind of auto enhance that through my photo editing software. I don't think it's worth twice the price. What's that?
I heard the P900 is best for shooting kitty headshots up close with a soft filter.
Oh, I mean, the iPhone 11 or any other camera you can get a hold of is perfect. Even if I just picked up this iMac and used the webcam, it would be perfect.
every headshot.
But it is a great wildlife camera. So my wife has always wanted to take those kinds of pictures. So it may be a mix of stuff. But I've been studying. Like I really want to make I really want to make these moon photos and things like if it's got to be a nightly thing or once a week thing, and I throw it up or even dedicate a channel to it. And it's not just like, here's the video of the moon. It's like, I want it to be like, this is the phase of the moon. This is where the moon's at. Maybe there's a story behind this day in history with the moon, what the moon can do in a full moon or the superstition. I want to create a little bit of a story for each one. That's what I have in my head.
I'd love to see you and Crow 777, you know, like cross looking.
He wasn't nice to me last time we talked.
No.
We interviewed him. Yeah, he came off like a dick.
Yeah. I'll put heat on him. But, you know, with the solstice thing, he'll be taping, and maybe you can, or, you know, if there's a definite Planet X stuff, maybe we should look into that where we can focus and see if we can catch anything.
Stars.
Yeah.
You know, dude, if I get the close up of the stars and they just got this weird kind of jello-y kind of movement to them. That's strange, man.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they all have different shapes and different, like he explains, it's almost like they look like they're in water.
Yeah.
Very,
I look
very
forward
strange.
to astronomy, Stevie Richards. That's
astronomy. Can't even say it.
It's and you can shoot for the stars with the new Conspiracy Horseman T-shirt available at what is it? What
ProWrestlingTees.com.
/ Stevie Richards. I got so many links to get out here, or / Ben Hamin / Greek God Papadon / SEG shirts, whoever you like the best. I've got it on charcoal. If you like a little, I thought maybe a little lighter shirt might make that awesome cover by Eric Kent pop a little more. If you like it on black wrestling shirt, get it on black wrestling shirt, dude. It's awesome, and who knows where it could lead next. We're excited to see what that Comic-Con road looks like, or us on speaking tours, or that cover might be enough to put in front of somebody at Sci-Fi to be like, I get it now. I fucking get it. And shout out to the chat room here. We had a good chat on the Friday locker room last night on the Conspiracy Horseman as well. See Strangers Alley and MSG. They're both going to the gym. I got pumped up because Tommy Dreamer even put out, I was weighing 275 yesterday. I drank 2 protein shakes, ate a salad, and went and hit the cardio. I weighed into 272 this morning. So if Tommy's out there doing it, man, we all can, bro, as he's getting ready for House of Hardcore here on the 23rd. I'll be at Immortal Championship Wrestling, beating the shit out of Rick Recon. And then the 30th back in Canada at Bordertown Pro, got Congo Kongs back versus the mighty Mike Elgin. And then on the 7th, I'm taking out Chris LaPlante at Crossfire Wrestling Moron. Prepare for war in the grudge match. I don't care if it's Badass Bobby Bass or any of those other old-time morons. I might just take them all out. They've got one foot in the grave, the other on a banana peel, and it's one $5 face slap before I end them all here on your Friday locker room. YOLO.